Hello there, everyone. What's going on? Happy Saturday. It's kind of a bummer kind of day with some news that came out yesterday of Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing. I'm a little bummed out. I don't know how many of you guys pay attention to that stuff, but it's a sad day, and I am trying to focus on hobbying and gaming and stuff and things like that to cheer up a little bit. And wanted to do a live stream and come and talk to you guys, do a little Q&A, and maybe we'll do a giveaway at the end of the live stream. So that's always a fun thing to do to help cheer things up. Some of you guys in chat have noticed, I changed my hair a little bit. I was doing something different, just trying to be silly, trying to have a good time for today. I'm a little overdue for a haircut, and I don't like a whole lot. I'm not a big fan of getting haircuts during COVID, but there's something I'll do from time to time. I'm spacing it out, so I'm not doing it as much, and and then just where you have to wear a mask while getting a haircut, so that's also interesting. So. What's going on with Legion restocks on clones? They're supposed to be coming out. I don't know how much. It's interesting. I don't know how much damage has been done through like this water damage rumor that's out there versus how much of it is just regular restocks that are going slow. But I mean, ARCs are going to be a long time. I've heard next February for ARCs at the earliest. We've got ARCs to give away, and that's going to happen soon. We're getting really close to 40K subscribers, so the headline of the video is talking about 40K. We're getting really close to that. I've got a bunch of things planned. I've actually got some, let's see. I was looking at one of your gator necks. Well, this is a good weekend to do it. There's a discount code, too, I talked about in this morning's video. Which one would you recommend getting if you could get only one? That's a tough one. I think Darth Vader and Darth Maul Darth Maul's probably my favorite one. But it kind of boils down to who is your favorite. Now the Mando ones, like they have the black line of the visor, but that's like right at the very top, and it can kind of roll up or down a little bit. So because they're 2-ply, the neck gaiters are 2-ply, so they're better protective than like. There's gator necks out there that have just the 1-ply, and they say those aren't very effective because they're so tight, but these are 2-ply because it's like almost like a tube, like a wet willy kind of thing. So it's better protection that way. So, but because it's 2-ply, there's also print on the inside a little bit as well, and so you can do a little bit of that. One thing that's kind of cool, if you guys are fans of the Double Critical podcast, the Double Critical ones are completely reversible. On the print on the inside, I put like the C for Crabbok on there, so you can kind of flip those up and inside out and everything like that. But definitely the Star Wars like character-based neck gaiters or gator necks, I keep going back and forth. Those are more popular. I really like the Maul one. I mean, all of the Mandalorian ones came out really well. They look really good. Vader looks pretty good. It kind of depends on what is your favorite. I think the Maul one is my favorite out of all of them right now. So there you go. I think that's my answer. But I'm a big. So you finally get your ARCs. Yeah, the ARC Troopers are very, very, very beautiful. I'm a big fan of them. I was doing some painting today. I did. I don't know how well these are going to show up. Some of my Inferno Squad dudes. I tried doing eyeballs, and let's see. I tried something different with the basing too. I don't know. Here's Hask. Oh, it's not focusing really well, is it? Oh well. It's not gonna. It's different with doing a regular video versus doing a live stream. And then here's Del Mico, and I put their. Yeah, it's not focusing as well. But I put the helmets on the ground next to them, and I wanted them to stand out. And I'm doing a different type of basing. So all of my Imperials I've always done snow as the basing, and it's such a pain in the butt putting the PVA glue on there. I have when I do snow, I do like a thick crystal-y snow first, and then I do a white powdery snow on top of that, so I get some texture and layers and stuff. And it's such a time-consuming process, and and some of the stuff, and same thing with my Rebels, I do like this blue and like dark blue and then like light blue teal on top of that. And it's been such a pain in the butt. I decided I wanted to use the crackle bases the crackle paint that I use for my clones because it's so much easier. And I just mix some paint in with the crackle paint. So I mixed white paint in with the crackle paint, and I got this kind of texture, which I like that because I can do a little bit more with that. I can put a wash in there, or I can put some white tufts, or even sprinkle a little snow on top. But in some of my Mandos, like Clan Ren here, I got the blue crackle paint. I put the blue wash on top of that, and then some dry brushing, and then I put some of the shrubs on there. And so like that came out pretty good. Here's the other like Clan Ren one. But I'm liking that blue and pink kind of contrast for the bases there. And this way it still kind of looks a little bit more like my like the rest of my Mandos. And then for the non-Clan Ren ones, I did them in a kind of an orange and yellow, and they have more of a blue tufts, and they were a lighter blue. So different types of blue, but still crackle paint to kind of get that broken up earth. So that was a kind of a fun. So let's see. We were talking a little bit about 40K subs. We have that going on. There's another thing that was in the headline. I talk about a new Legion format. And this is not an official thing. This is something that I've been thinking about and wanting to do for a long time. And it's something I've got planned for 40K that will go live when we hit 40,000 subscribers. And it's a fun new battle report for a new Legion format that we put together. Now, patrons already have early access to this. So if you're I think A-Wing level or higher, it's up on early access on Patreon right now. But there is, basically, I wanted to do a format where you could use all your heroes and kind of like a kill team for Star Wars Legion. Like I don't know if you've ever played 40K like kill team, but basically it's like you have a really think you have like a single stormtrooper squad, and each stormtrooper is got a name and their own stats, and they're going out like doing a mission. You're moving them one at a time, and they each have their own health and stuff like that. So you have much less, far fewer minis, kind of like Marvel Crisis Protocol, right? How you only have like 4 or 5 guys or something like that. I wanted to be able to do something like that for Legion, and granted, I think it could be done for like troopers and stuff like that, but it would require a whole book of stats. I'm like, how much does what kind of options do you have for rebel troopers? What kind of options do you have for snow troopers versus storm troopers versus fleet troopers? And like, here's like 10 ways you can configure an individual dude. Like it would require a whole book of kind of rules for that. So I'm like, well, the easiest way to do a hero type kill team or strike team battle would be just to do a hero battle where you're just using all commanders and operatives. And so you get rid of the list building rules and you just run 800 points of commanders and operatives only. Now, that was a cool like a starting thing. And hey, how you guys doing? If you guys are just joining us, we're talking about a new Legion format idea that I had, and something for fun, something for playing around, and it's called a hero format. And thank you for the compliments on the hair. It's just we're playing around today, trying to have fun. It is a little bit like skirmish. So for the hero battle format, or strike team, as I'm going to call it, and I think for it to really be a strike team format, we probably could use a book on like detailing how you could run like an individual rebel trooper or an individual stormtrooper, and like smaller, weaker guys too. But I want to be able to run 800 points of all my heroes and villains and stuff like that. So that's what we did. I decided, all right, let's run 800 points of all commanders and operatives. No restrictions. If you want more than 2 commanders, more than 2 operatives, that's fine. And I said, let's make it heroes versus villains. So you, like when building a list, you're not restricted to just separatists, for example, because frankly, separatists and Republic don't have it. So let's just make it all the good guys versus the bad guys. So you can take Republic and pair them up with the Rebels. So you can get Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker in the same build, for example. Or Darth Vader and Dooku, for example, right? And so you're gonna get 800 points of that. It'll be more fun, of course, once we have Maul, right? Because I really want to use Maul and Anakin in a format like that. But you can do operatives too. There's a lot, and you have a lot more options with the Rebels and the Empire. And so Sean and I got together and we tried this out. We talked about it a little bit beforehand on what we were gonna do. And so, kind of like skirmish, that we decided this type of format might work best on a 3x3. Um, it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to work best on a 3x3 because you can certainly do it on a 6x3. Right now, for example, Cassian Andor and Iden Versio can be in that unlimited sniper config, so that gives them a tremendous range boost on a 6x3, but that is a little bit kind of crazy. Command hands would be crazy. Oh yes, definitely. Um, so for this type of format, we decided 3x3, and we'd still use the skirmish objectives because it's a 3x3, and those are built for 3x3. But we'll still do 6 rounds, and this is still being kind of fine tuned a little bit. And the result was a lot of fun. It was really interesting. It's something I think I could definitely see doing again, but I don't think it's so much fun that it replaces the game of Legion. It's not like this broke the game. This is the only version I want to play now. No, it was a fun alternate thing to do. An incremental mode. Oh yeah, they certainly do things like that, especially for multiple game sessions. Like next game we get more points. You add to your army. Escalation. X-Wing has certainly done things like that. So yeah. It's pretty fun to do kind of a hero battle like that. And so and the funny thing is, even with 800 points of commanders and operatives, I did not get to do everything that I wanted to do. I didn't get to bring everybody that I wanted to bring. So it makes me really want to do more with that format in the future. Especially, I'll point out, especially once we get Maul and Anakin, I'll want to revisit that because I really want, I've talked a lot about wanting 7 sabers, which is going to be Grievous, Dooku, and blades. Seven lightsaber blades. So I really like that idea for just on Grievous alone. And you can fit that in a normal list. You don't have to run this format for that. But this would be that'd be a fun trio of dudes to run in that type of format. So maybe once it gets, once we really get more and more heroes, I think like stuff like that will be a lot more fun, a lot more viable. One of the problems though that I run into is like your melee characters are extremely what is that? Your melee characters are extremely expensive versus your ranged characters, which are much cheaper. And so I ran into the issues list building thinking like, all right, I want, Darth Vader and Dooku, and oh wait, that's half my list just in 2 guys. Ooh, this is gonna be tough, And so there's definitely tough decisions to be made in that format. Whereas some characters I think are, very, very strong in a list like that. So I thought it was a really fun battle. That's definitely something we'll do again. Command cards is also a really interesting thing in a hero battle because everybody's got command cards. So you're like, what do I bring? What do I do? And that's interesting. I think the good guys have a tremendous advantage in that they have R2D2 because he's a 35 point. He's a whole extra activation you have there, and he's super cheap, and he can't, it's hard to shoot him and all of that stuff. So R2's a really fun option for something like that. But yeah, it'll be interesting. So you guys will have to wait and see what we come up with. There is an early version of this. There's a battle report up on Patreon right now. So patrons at the A-Wing level or higher have early access to this hero battle already. And of course, once we pass 40K for subscribers, that will be something that's going live. So you guys will all have access to it, and then we can talk more about it. Maybe do another one. But I think it's a fun format, and hopefully you guys like that very much. Other stuff related to 40K, we have. I'm going to be doing a little bit of 40K stuff. I've been trying. I know virtually nothing about Warhammer 40K, and so that's one of the things that I want to cover a little bit once we hit 40K as well. I don't know how much I'll be covering it. I'm not sure just yet. It's going to be one of those things where, depending on its popularity, will help determine how much more effort I put into it. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop covering. It does not mean at all that I'm going to stop covering Star Wars. So I don't want you to worry about that. But I am looking at for example, 40K Risk is something that I'm going to take a look at. and because I think that'd be a fun, like Risk is, heck, I love Risk. I played. I want to tell you something. When I got married, for my bachelor party, we played Risk. Now, I know that does not sound as exciting as you'd expect a bachelor party to be, but I'm of the mindset that I wanted to do something that was genuinely fun with my friends, and we had a good time, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. I didn't want to go to a strip club, like I don't know. Not when I didn't think that was appropriate when I was getting married in the morning. But that's just me. I'm not downing anybody else for what they do. But I enjoy Risk. Risk was one of the first board games that I really, really got into before I got into modern tabletop gaming. And then the first, I think the oldest board game that I have still today is, where is it? Oh, do I still have it? Oh, no, I'm looking. Oh, man, did it go away? Oh yeah, no, there it is. Risk 2210 AD. All right, well, it's under a pile of stuff, but Risk 2210 by Avalon Hill. I don't know how many of you guys have ever played that, but that's a really cool version of Risk. That's one I should get back to the table again. That'd be a real fun one to bring back. But yeah, there was two versions of Risk 2210. Also, there was like a big box and a small box version. And I don't really even know what the difference between the two was. I think it was just more packaging in the big box version and less packaging in the small box version. But yeah, so I have not played Risk since I've gotten into normal gaming outside of Star Wars Risk, which Star Wars Risk didn't feel like Risk at all. And the 40K Risk looks a little bit more like Risk. And so I'm like, that'll be a really good one to do once we cross 40,000 subscribers, and it'll be a fun thing to do. Let me get into some of the comments here. All right. Let's see. You got the Game of Thrones Risk. Okay, cool. Eric says, I have that version. I like the addition of the moon base and the underwater areas. No, I absolutely do too. Plus the commanders, I think, is fun. The cards are very different. It's one of those that the more you play it, the more you are on the lookout for certain really nasty cards, and like, can somebody take over the whole moon? Look how much power they're getting from this, and it's and the fact that it's restricted to only 5 turns, or I believe it's 5 turns, makes Risk 2210 like a really fun game. It'd be fun to come back and like review that and do some coverage on Risk 2210. Like that'd be a really fun one to do. Gosh, you know what? I honestly, like I wish I did not have to work and. Oh, really? Tell me more about it. I realize how silly that sounds, because everybody wishes that, But like, I would love to be able to just make gaming content and that be the only thing I did. Unfortunately, it does not pay very well, so I have to actually work also. But otherwise, I could just have silly mohawks every day, right? But yes, so that much is going on, and we have a couple of new games to showcase. That probably be coming next week. Some fun pirate-themed games are going to be showcased, so you'll have to stay tuned to that. We got some more terrain to review for you Legion lovers out there. And we're getting closer to, we got some X-Wing Wave 7 is shipping right now, so that will be also probably next week. I think we'll be taking a look at some of the new X-Wing stuff. That's exciting. And let's see, what else? This is an interesting thing. Here, I'm going to tell you guys something interesting. Legion pre-orders have been shipping so that they arrive like the day after their street day. But my X-Wing pre-orders shipped last week, and I believe their street date is next Friday, so they're probably going to show up multiple days early. What's up with that? I feel like Keenan Thompson from SNL saying, "What's up with that? What's up with that?" No, so like that's just a really strange thing how pre-orders seem to differ between games, even though they're both from Asmodee and Fantasy Flight. I don't know if there's just really significant stock. It makes me wonder what world is going on with Legion products right now, and good luck trying to find an answer to that. That's a tough one. But yeah, I don't know what is going on with them. Okay, so let's see what else do we have coming up soon. So we got some terrain reviews. I was thinking of doing some more painting videos. I got some airbrush paints So I don't do a whole lot of painting videos. Every once in a while, I'll do some painting on a live stream. But painting is something I usually do in it on, I turn on an audiobook. And I started a new audiobook series called The Iron Druid Chronicles because I finished all of everything else that I've been reading, like The Expanse and Dresden and all of the Star Wars stuff. I've finished all of that, and I'm just waiting for the next Dresden Files book to come out. So I started a new book series, and I'm enjoying that so far. But I'll just listen to audiobooks and paint, and I'll just do that. And, trying to work on getting a little better on my painting, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to improve on. But I'm having fun with it, and that's really what it's all about. Is like, do you enjoy the hobby? Between that and then all the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff I've got to paint, I've got a lot of painting yet still to do. So I figured it was a good time for audiobooks. But sometimes I do airbrush stuff. So I bought this a Vallejo airbrush paint set because I had tried one, like a single airbrush paint, and it was so much better in an airbrush. Like I didn't have to thin it out or anything. I could just apply it, go, and there was no, because there's always, like if you're trying to make a normal paint work in an airbrush, there's thinner you have to add, there's all kinds of, and you have to get the consistency just right, maybe add some extra water to it. But then if you make it too thin, then you get like water streaks on your model and stuff like that. And so it doesn't always work out good. At point in case, hold on, let me do some examples. We'll do some examples here. Like this dude. Oh yes, I read the new Thrawn. So like this tank, right? I did airbrushing with this guy. I don't know if you can really see, but you can kind of see it right in here. I'm trying to do some like white and blue kind of overlays, and I tried to tape off the blue. And none of these were airbrush paints. So I didn't get the consistency that I wanted. I have a lot of splatters of white because it was too thick in some places and too thin in other places. So then it was just like boo, boo, like almost like got hit with some paintballs. And so I didn't get, like, I'm not happy with this one. And I will probably go back and redo this one at some point because I wanted more of an even smooth covering. So, but my airbrush paints, I got a brown set of airbrush paints, and that's when I did the AAT, and this came out so much smoother. It's very, very smooth, and there's no brush marks and no spatterings. I even did this one, which actually came out, I think, even better. I did this one a little darker, and then I came back in with some turquoise and added it on there. But yeah, so I did, out of my two AATs, they're both slightly different. One's a little darker than the other, but I think they came out great. Look at how smooth that looks, man. Like, I love that. And that's easy. That's not even a skill thing. That's just, I happen to own an airbrush and happen to have an airbrush paint that worked with it. And so excellent. So I'm like, I gotta get some airbrush paints, specifically, rather than just trying to mix my own. Please continue your Legion unit by unit review. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I will do that. You want my take on the airspeeder? I love the airspeeder. It's awesome. But yeah, that's a good idea. I may do that. And actually, you know what? You just made me want to run double airspeeders in my next Legion battle report. Freaking love the airspeeder. But it's not great. I'll say this, I really want them to change the harpoon. I want the harpoon to get an errata. Because the harpoon, even if it hits, like so many of the vehicles now have reposition. It's not even a big deal if it hits. And it's so hard for it to hit. It's so hard for it to hit. Like, I almost want like a new pilots. I want new pilots. And I think, like, there's a little part of me like hoping they make new pilots so then I can be like, all right, here's the airspeeder preview. But now that we've got Luke Skywalker as a pilot, this is going to be a really cool new take on the airspeeder. And then we've got Dick Ralter as a pilot, and he feels like he can take on the whole Empire by himself. Like, I would love to do something like that. That'd be really, hopefully they're doing more pilots, especially more universal pilots. But I guess they'll, I don't know if they'll do that because then it kind of restricts, like the Imperial Hammer's pilot that gives any vehicle that he can go in, which is all for the Empire, surge to hit. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if they don't want necessarily that to be an option for every single vehicle, So You know, I think they'll probably stick to this pilot goes in these specific vehicles only. And that's probably how they'll do things from now on, which is a little bit of a bummer, but you know, it is what it is. Let's see what else is going on in the world. How are you guys doing today? Are you guys doing all right? You guys doing any hobbying or gaming this weekend? Is that a budget Mr. T hairstyle I have there? Yes, this is a budget. Oh, I gotta do some giveaways. Let me get my little box of promos here and see what we can give away today. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Do we want Legion or Armada today? Let me know. Let me know in the chat if you guys are feeling like a Legion giveaway or an Armada giveaway. Because that's what I'm thinking of kind of doing. I'd love to hear from you guys. I see Legion. I see a vote for Legion. I see another vote for Legion. I see Legion, Legion, Legion. Wow. So we'll do 40K when I hit 40K. Yeah, I'm gonna do some 40. I'm gonna try and do some 40K coverage. Problem is, I'm not certain how people in the 40K community will appreciate somebody who doesn't know as much about 40K kind of dipping their foot into the water. And that's one of those things. I'm like, am I gonna get completely tore up if I like mispronounce something, or you know what I mean? Like, so like that's one of those things that you know we're gonna see. I'm gonna still try, but yeah, that's one of those things. All right, so it looks like Legion is gonna win the wish list of giveaways. Let's see what we have. Oh man, I still have Star Wars Destiny promos. I've got some old ones too. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that is really cool. That's nice. All right. Let's see. Destiny promos. Yup. There will be people that love you and very toxic side that will better be ignored. I don't mind toxic people. Well, I don't like toxic people. Some of your subscribers are 40K fans, so you'll watch me anyway. Okay, cool. Well, and that'll be kind of cool for those of you who are familiar with 40K that can, you know, kind of help my journey. You know what I mean? Like help correct me. You know, like I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm planning on making a joke. Oh, this is a good one. Okay, we're gonna do. I'm gonna make some kind of joke about like, wait, did they just rip off StarCraft with these space marines? Aren't they already in StarCraft? Like I was thinking of making a joke like that, but I don't know how bad people would be. Like, no, you stupid idiot, you know, because I do know enough that I believe 40K was out well before Blizzard made StarCraft. That's my understanding. But if I did that, you know, we'll see. These guys look a lot like Terrans from 40K. You know, I don't know. All right, just send you some arcs so you don't have to pay $50 for them. Well, they'll come out again. All right, so here's what we're gonna give away. This is a promo for the personnel upgrade. These are in the small upgrade card format. Full art. They're double-sided. It's Snow Troopers on one side and Fleet Troopers on the other. So whether you play Rebels or Imperials, you can just flip it over. And I think Snow Troopers are gonna see a resurgence. I think Fleet Troopers really need a resurgence. I think we're probably gonna see something soon that makes Fleet Troopers great again. I think we are going to see something soon that makes Fleet Troopers great again. I don't know if it's going to be in the next 4 expansions, although in the next 4 supposedly are going to be are going to be 2 Rebel, 2 Empire. Some things that people wanted very much. I don't know if that's going to be what makes Fleet Troopers great again. Both are great in interior battles. They are. But how many people really do interior battles? I think interior battles need some rule reworkings as well. Primarily, one of the things that, you know, when I did my interior battle report, we decided like, you know, it'd be top-down rules or whatever. We were doing 4. I did like Vader's 1 pip where he moves somebody, you know, Vader's might, and I literally ripped somebody through a wall and then killed, and that was that was not very popular, you know. So, but and I'm not saying fleet troopers are terrible, but they don't measure up to a lot of the other units that are in the game right now because of their restriction to range 2. They're a standby. Their strength is in standby, and they don't have the capability to increase that standby to range 3, and their attacks are restricted to range 2 anyway. So they're you know, like they require a very specific type of map to shine, and most tournament maps don't accommodate that. And that's, you know, that's a problem. But I mean, they're super fun. Like I like the unit. I want, like, when they work, they're really fun. You know, and so, and fun matters, and they're iconic. I think that needs that alone makes them, like, they have to be better, right? So we are going to be giving this away. So you get to the end of the stream, and I'll let you guys know when we're doing that, and then you can, you know, leave a hashtag or something in the chat, and we'll do that. Also, if you guys are interested in saving some money, we have there's a discount going on. I think it's weekend 10. I talked about it, and I left it on my Facebook and also on the community page. There's a discount code going on the Teespring merch shop in the description down below. So if you wanted to pick up any shirts, or there's a new bag, and I ordered a sample of it. But basically, I have a new design, which is carbonite, and it's got dice encased in carbonite. It's like a dice prison for bad dice, right? A prison for when your dice betray you, you throw them in there. And so I have it on a shirt, but I'm putting it on a bag. It's a small bag, so it can be two things. It can be just like a joke that you throw your dice in there. Actually, it makes for a really cool Christmas gift for a gamer friend. I know Christmas is still a little ways out, or Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, or Ramadan, or whatever, or maybe you're just looking for a birthday gift or whatever. But I thought something like that would be really cute. Because it's a little, like, 8x7 bag or something like that. You can also use that if you play Legion. If you need an opaque container, like tournament rules now for Legion is that you can't just stack your chips up. You have to put them in a bag. And I'm like, well, here we go. This would make a perfect, a perfect bag for Legion, because you're not allowed to use a stack anymore. You have to pull them in an opaque container. This hasn't been a big deal this year because we're not having in-person tournaments this year. But next year, it's going to be more of a big deal. So I thought that, so it doubles as like a really funny bag that you can put your tokens in, and also a place you can throw your dice when they mistreat you. And maybe it rehabilitates them a little bit, you know. But all of that stuff is in my Teespring shop. I've got shirts, I've got masks, I've got gator necks, and all kinds of things like that. And you can save 10%. It's this weekend only. I think it stops Monday with that weekend 10 code. So check it out, and might make for a nice gift for somebody, or maybe something for yourself. But we got some new designs in there too. I'm working on a couple more. I'm working on some Mandalorian designs too that are going to show up in there as well. Let's see. That's going on. That's a secret. We'll let that one wait for a little bit. I don't want to get too much into the secrety, spoilery territory. All right, so we talked a little bit about 40K. We talked about the new format. If you're just joining us late, there's a new hero battle that's up on Patreon right now. That's kind of an alternate format for Legion, where it's just 800 points of commanders and operatives on a 3x3, but you still run 6 rounds. It's like a hybrid between skirmish and the full game, and we tried that out, and it's super fun. And it's a great way for you to really have a tough time in figuring out which command cards you want to use. Thoughts on unannounced units? That's a great question. So I really think there's going to be Force users. I expect to see either Kanan or Ezra for the Rebel side. And I expect to see an Inquisitor, and perhaps the Grand Inquisitor, or maybe just one of the other Inquisitors, for the Empire. I think that'll be at least 2 of them. And primarily, that's because we're getting Maul and Anakin in kind of like the same wave. Maul and Anakin are also bringing in new Force abilities, like that offensive stance, which requires that. And so, I just feel like that is almost a given. Right, I think it's almost a given, and I'll be really excited to see Kanan and Ezra, or even one of them, I just want more of the Ghost crew, and that also makes for a really good time to bring about the 800 point format and all of that. I'm not sure what the other two are going to be. A lot of people, like a predominant theory that I have heard. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but is something using observation tokens, since those are new. Maybe an Imperial probe droid that uses observation tokens. It's harder to really speculate on that because we don't know yet what observation tokens do. All we know is that the Separatists are going to have them. One way the Separatists get them is through Darth Maul's little probe droids. The other way the Separatists are going to have them is through their Specialists pack, because their comm guy, while he's not going to really benefit by giving them comm, he is going to, because they have comm already, he's going to instead give them the ability to use observation tokens. So what, in fact, are those going to even do? We don't know. Now, if that's a probe droid, like that seems, it's most likely that for that to be a probe droid for the Empire. I am not convinced that the Rebels will have an equivalent to that. And what I mean by that is the Rebels might have something totally different. As a matter of fact, the Rebels might get something that helps them out with Fleet Trooper, the giveaway for this thing, right? They might get something that helps them out with Fleet Troopers. It may be like a Ramus Antilles. Here's an idea. Here's an idea. Ramus Antilles, right? He's dressed like a Fleet Trooper. The problem is, though, he's dressed exactly the same as the Fleet Trooper's unit leader, so you're gonna have a harder time trying. They're gonna have to make him pose a little differently, make him a little more. But let's just say it's Ramus Antilles. Maybe he's a commander. Makes sense for him to be a commander. Maybe he's a commander that gives Fleet Troopers a bonus. But maybe, and this is what I'd like to see for commanders in the future, for commanders to also come with a heavy weapon card that you can, instead of using them as a commander, drop them into a unit. Drop Ramus Antilles to be the heavy in a Fleet Trooper unit. And there you go. So now, if you want to run multiple Fleet Troopers, maybe Ramus Antilles has a command card. Maybe, Entourage Fleet Trooper? Sure. Maybe he gets Entourage Fleet Trooper. Maybe he gets one or even two command cards that benefit Fleet Troopers. Maybe he gives, a benefit to any weapon that is below range 3, which could help both grenades and Fleet Troopers, right? Maybe he increases units that do standby. Maybe he gives all corps a standby for one of his cards or something like that. Anyway, but so like that would be interesting. And I would love to see Ramus, kind of come in there as an option that could be included in the Fleet Troopers, because that would be slight synergy to how Inferno Squad gets their, has their two guys that go into like the Snow Troopers, and Disney won't allow non-canon stuff. Well, Ramus Antilles is absolutely canon. Oh, yeah, you're talking about, that's in reply to Jan Ors. Yeah, no, Disney doesn't necessarily block all non-canon stuff, because we got the gunship, right, in X-Wing, so the gunboat rather, or whatever. There, but no, and also a lot of that stuff isn't necessarily not. Well, I think Jan Ors would be harder to get. I think you'd have a harder time doing that. But, gosh, didn't they do that in? Was it Outer Rim? Well, the HWK is in Outer Rim. Now I got to pull up Outer Rim and see, because I don't think Disney is that dead set against blocking all of the canon stuff. What do we got? We got Jyn Erso. I'm opening up Outer Rim. We're going to go through Outer Rim right now, because I don't remember all of the different characters that are in here. Because, let's see. Here we go. We got Lando, Jyn, Dr. Aphra. No. Okay, we don't have Kyle Katarn or Jan Ors in here, but there is an HWK. I'm almost certain there's an HWK. We got the golden dice too for X-Wing, but I could have sworn I've seen Kyle Katarn show up in something that was some FFG product that came out somewhat recently. Now I'm just not sure. I'm not sure. Was he in? They in 2. They're in 2.0, right? Oh, X-Wing 2.0. Gosh, now I don't know. Now I'm drawing a blank. All right, so let's see here. All right. There is non-canon stuff in Armada, absolutely. Now, granted, Armada had a lot of stuff that was that had already met licensor approval before the Disney buyout, and so that's why a lot of that stuff made it in. So, you wish they would bring back the EU. Well, they kind of are. I would love to see that too. I think there's a chance for that because there's nothing stopping them, right? The fact that they named it Legends means they took awareness of it, they took ownership of it, and said, "Hey, look, this is here." The only problem is a lot of like they haven't. They need to address it. They need to like speak up and talk about it and say to a lot of folks, "Hey, guys, you guys that want more Star Wars Legends stuff in that universe, we hear you." And maybe they could just say, "We're working on something." Because all it would have to be is like a show in that universe. Call it like Through the Looking Glass. It's a different universe. Like, look, Marvel has stuff. MCU. They have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which does not touch the MCU, even though it was born, but it's like on its own path. It's never going to touch it. But they have the comic book universe. The comic book stories aren't dependent upon what happens in the MCU, vice versa. Certainly they are inspired by each other, but they're different universes. They have a multiverse in Marvel, and that's licensed to say anything goes, right? So somebody dies in this book, it's okay, they're alive in another book. All that stuff happens. Well, the Star Wars could do the same thing, right? They need to get away from this whole everything is in one universe. And maybe maybe the movie stuff that they come out with is going to be like the cinematic universe. Well, what's to stop them from doing, more books in Legends, especially while it's still fresh enough in people's minds? I know that the big focus was on the sequel trilogy because they dumped a lot of money into the parks. They definitely want the First Order and the Resistance to be things that people know and recognize that become the brand. They want those to be the brand because there's a reason they didn't make Galaxy's Edge Stormtroopers versus the Rebellion. In my opinion, I think it would have been smarter to make it Stormtroopers and the Rebellion so they could abandon the sequel trilogy if they wanted. Maybe abandon's a tough word because I'm not trying to dismiss the sequel trilogy. It exists. It's here. I'm fine with it. Doesn't have to be my favorite. It's not, but it's here. It's fine. And it was a good opportunity to go see some Star Wars movies in the theaters, but or at least an opportunity. But no. I would love for them to say, all right, Legends is also a thing, right? And they've already talked about like Legends is kind of like the things that the people in the Star Wars universe talk about, right? So that's, or whatever, like that's why there's things about Revan and things like that. Like, cause he was like this close to being officially canonized again and like just barely didn't make the cut, but I'm sure he will. So yeah, like I would love for them to kind of have a what if series, which would be yet another type of universe. I would love for them to like the simplest one is what would happen if Luke and Leia switched places, and Luke was the prince of Alderaan and Leia was the farm girl on Tatooine, and how would things have developed differently? Like that's a fun one. That's a fun one to explore. Would Luke have kind of followed into politics, or would he have been more of a rogue prince who went out and was like trying to get into fighters and do stuff? Oh, look at all the crab emojis. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, the sequel trilogy. Look, it's a lot. It's not a lot of people aren't crazy about it. I'm okay with it though because I'll tell you something else. A lot of people don't. Maybe they do understand, but I feels like people forget. And that's with Disney buying this buying Star Wars and injecting a whole bunch of new life into it. Sure, they had to make their movies. They had to make the sequel trilogy. They also gave us so many other really good things. Things that are a lot more universally loved. For example, letting Dave Filoni come back and start some animation projects and a show called Star Wars Rebels. Like, come on, most people who watched Star Wars Rebels enjoy it. I know somebody will cheer up and say, well, I watched it and I didn't like it. Okay, but most people do. Like, Rebels is like universally liked by almost every Star Wars fan that I talk to. Same thing with Rogue One. Rogue One was great. A lot of people, my opinion on Solo was that I wasn't a big fan of Solo, but a lot of people still enjoyed Solo, even if it wasn't great. One of the biggest problems with Solo was and there were a couple, but one of the biggest problems with Solo was just the timing. Was not all that good. I mean, didn't it come out like right around Endgame, or was it Infinity War? Anyway, like it was doomed from the start. But getting past that, it's still a good movie. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I don't like backstories because I knew he was safe. I knew Han Solo and Chewbacca and Lando were safe, and they put them in danger in the movies. I'm like, I'm not convinced. But that's fine. Still an enjoyable tale. Whatever. I had a good time with that. But like, and how about the rest of the Clone Wars being made? Like that was awesome. There's so many really good things. And The Mandalorian. Come on there. It's awesome. It's freaking phenomenally good. So Disney has done a lot more good than they have bad. A lot more good than bad. And so if the price for that was that we got the sequel trilogy, I happily pay that. I'll happily pay that. Your Legends books are still there, you know. Yeah, like I don't think there was a need for a lot of hate on Solo. I thought it was a moderately well done movie. It's a shame that they had to swap out directors like halfway through or whatever, and have Ron Howard come in and like finish a movie that he didn't start. That's a little awkward. There was a few little things in there that I wasn't crazy about, and a few things that I wasn't a big fan of, but that's just nitpicking. Ultimately, I don't usually like stories where I know that the main character is already safe because it's a backstory. It's harder for me to get invested in something when I already know that everybody's safe from the beginning. It's harder for me to let the story take me on a ride that way. That's a personal thing for me. I will contrast that by saying the latest Thrawn book, Chaos Rising, is entirely a backstory, and I have to eat my words with this one because that one I absolutely loved. Absolutely loved. And it has something to do with Timothy Zahn being such a tremendous writer that he easily gets me past my own vices of not liking a backstory, because the journey that he writes is so very good that I don't care that I know that Thrawn isn't going to die in this book. All right. So yeah, the new Thrawn book, and this one is the best Star Wars book since Thrawn, the first Thrawn book. It's the best one since then. I don't think it beats Thrawn, but it comes close. Now, the two books in the first Thrawn trilogy that came after were all right. They weren't as great. It was harder for them to top Thrawn because Thrawn was so good. So what was it? It was Alliances and then Treason. Like, Alliances wasn't that good because it had a lot of stuff about Padme getting herself into trouble again, and I was just like, I'm so tired of reading about Padme. She's a senator. She's not supposed to be invading planets by herself. Like it's so, I don't like that. It's dereliction of duty, right? I don't know. It's just silliness. Also, it felt like a recycled plotline from a Clone Wars episode. But the parts with Thrawn were good. And then you had Treason, which was different and enjoyable, but didn't quite rise to that level that Thrawn did. Well, Chaos Rising, start of a whole new trilogy, rises very close to that level of the first Thrawn book. So it's in one of my top. It's probably maybe my third or fourth favorite Star Wars book of the new canon altogether. So that's that, and because like it's a tough one and we've gotten some really good books since Disney took over too. Not to say there weren't good books, and like the original Heir to the Empire trilogy was absolutely phenomenal. So there was a lot of really good books back then also. And so it's really hard to say if it was worth getting rid of the EU or not. Like, they didn't get rid of it; it's still there. So that's why I think it's going to be a good thing for all if they keep the Legends going. If they just say, hey, let's kind of jump back into the timeline in the Legends universe. Where did it kind of lead off? Was it Cade Skywalker or something like that? Like, I'm a little rusty because I did not read all of the Legends stuff, and I'll be honest. Once Disney pulled the plug on the EU and called it Legends, I was less incentivized to go and keep reading. So my Legends knowledge kind of consists in a lot of stuff I read as a teenager and young adult. So Heir to the Empire trilogy, and then a bunch of the Kevin J. Anderson books, so which were like the tales, like Tales from the Cantina, Tales from Jabba's Palace, the Tales of the Bounty Hunters, and there was a trilogy, the Jedi Academy trilogy, and then the book Dark Saber, which followed that. And I think that was all of the EU or Legends that I actually read. I didn't read the Rogue Squadron books, even though a lot of people like those. So, there's, I think, but I do have, I've got this really cool, like, I think it was for Star Wars' 25th anniversary. It was a coffee table book, but it outlines the entire timeline of events of all things Star Wars. And this was still when Legends was canon. And so it goes all the way to, I think, Cade Skywalker, or like the end of when storytelling kind of happened in Legends. And so like it was like that was kind of interesting. It talked about Jason and Jaina Solo and and then that whole arc and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, because all I really knew of that was when they were little babies, baby babies. So like maybe if they jump forward in time and keep going with Legends and they talk about the Yuzan Vong and all kinds of stuff like that, it could be interesting. It might make a lot of people happy, to see some of their Legends characters like talked about again and stuff, because a lot of people really liked Corran Horn and stuff like that. So hey, like nothing wrong with doing stuff like that, especially if maybe you limit it to one format. Maybe you do an animated show, and it's farther in the future and it's in its own universe or something like that. That would probably make a lot of people happy. Mara Jade, oh man, well I think Mara Jade is going to come back. I think she needs to come back and do kind of like they did with Thrawn, in that introduce Mara Jade into the current canon, and this in very much the same way you introduced Thrawn, which was recognizably the same kind of brain, same kind of mentality, and just into a different situation with a different adversary, and make it canon. What I would do is, you have Thrawn and Ezra that are going to be in somewhere, like they're going to eventually revisit Thrawn and Ezra. And I think when you do that, when you revisit Thrawn and Ezra, where they are and what's going on with them, that's when you introduce Mara Jade. And now you can very much mirror a lot of the things that happened in Heir to the Empire, the original trilogy, the Heir to the Empire trilogy, because that's when they introduced Thrawn. They also, Captain Paleon is there, right? Because he was in Thrawn's fleet. He called him out when they were all warped away. So you've got that. You've got dreadnoughts, so you can do the Kitana fleet or something like that. And that's when you introduce Mara Jade. Have her go after Ezra in much the same way that she went after Luke Skywalker. And then perhaps Ezra wins her over. Maybe Ezra and Mara Jade pair up eventually, get married or something like that. But the cool thing is we won't know. So it actually, like, the future will be unwritten with that. And maybe it takes a slightly different turn. Maybe they don't fall in love. Maybe they remain enemies. Who knows? And so like I think, like, I would love to see them do that. Have Mara Jade kind of be introduced, and have Ezra kind of be the Luke Skywalker proxy. And but I'm curious what you guys think. Because that's let's see. They need to introduce Talon Card, as well as, Garm Bel Iblis. Well, that's another person. Yeah. Talon Card and Garm Bel Iblis could both be involved in wherever they go. Garm Bel Iblis could be that senator that went missing, a decade ago and got lost in the unknown regions. And then Talon Card could just be your Hondo Anaka, basically, who happens to be out there, who eventually gets involved. And the big bad maybe is the Grisk, who are the enemies of the Chiss, and maybe they all end up. And the beauty of this one is that hopefully they all end up joining forces, and Ezra and Mara Jade come together and actually decide to make a truce, working with Thrawn against the Grisk. Thrawn comes out as kind of like this, all right, fine, like almost like a Hondo Anaka, like this neutral. Like, we want to root for Thrawn, right? We want to. Even though even though he was originally a villain, he's the hero of his stories now. He is not a bad guy. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna ever say that Thrawn is a bad guy. He is a good guy. He may work for the Empire throughout Rebels, but he is a good guy, and I would sooner see him successful than a lot of the other rebels. You know, so yeah, that's what I would like. I would like to see Thrawn, because like, and the thing is, especially if you know from the books, like he was not a fan of the Emperor, but he needed the Empire's support, especially with the Grisk getting ready to try and invade the Chiss, right? So like you got a really really serious enemy out there. What I need to, let me put the Emperor's chaos aside. I'm going to serve here for a while, so this way hopefully I can command a fleet, bring them out here, because we need their support. It doesn't matter that the leader's a jerk. He's not as much of a jerk as they are, you know. Yeah, nice little throwback from Wreck-It Ralph. He's a bad guy, but that doesn't mean he's a bad guy, right? Yeah, yeah. And now somebody earlier in chat asked about Nemesis. Nemesis is a very, very good game. We've got more Nemesis coming from the second Kickstarter, and I'll be definitely bringing some more Nemesis content once that happens. It's a fantastic game. So Nemesis is a semi-cooperative game. It's basically like Aliens. It's a survival horror in space. You guys all have to work together to make sure that you can either fix your ship or get back to Earth or whatever. But everybody has a secret objective, and that they must accomplish in order to meet their victory condition. And a lot of those involve killing other players. Not all of them. And also a lot of them have two options. So you have the option to kill another player or do this other thing that might be hard. And some of them it's just do two things that are hard. Some of them it's kill everybody. You have to be the only one surviving, And so you never really know if somebody is choosing to play nice or choosing to play bad, or if they have a choice at all. And so you kind of just have to assume everybody's good and then trust that people are fixing the engines when they say they're fixing the engines, And so it's like the whole thing is it's pretty wild, and it's hard and it's fun too. Like the whole journey, even up until the very very end when everybody reveals their cards, and you're like, oh shoot, you were a traitor. No, we were all traitors. Oh, who won? Oh, nobody won. Oh, we all betrayed each other too much. We all lost. And if you're just joining us, I just decided to do something silly with the hair, and my wife is telling me that it is time to go watch the UCF Knights play some football. So I'm going to have to start wrapping up this live stream. All right, we're going to do a giveaway now. We were talking about it, and if you've hung out with me all along, you will know that we are going to be giving away this alternate Fleet Trooper, Snow Trooper card for Star Wars Legion. I will ship this out to you anywhere in the world. All you have to do is, please do this only once. Give me a hashtag and let me know in the chat. Let's see, what am I going to ask for? If you do it already, you already missed it. Let me know who your favorite lightsaber wielding character is. If you're, yeah, there you go. And you'll get to this double-sided Snow Trooper / Fleet Trooper promo. Well, this was from 2018. I've had this. Yeah, that was and we're gonna do some more. Also, we're gonna do some more promo giveaways on Patreon while this is running, and I'll just randomly pick. Since I didn't do Armada today, I'll do some Armada giveaways on Patreon. Let's see, what are we gonna give away on Patreon? So if you guys are interested in supporting, well, let's do a. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Let's do. We're gonna give away Boba Fett in the Slave One alternate art Boba Fett. He's not double-sided though. That's going to be on Patreon. So I'll post a picture for that a little bit later today. If you want to win a Boba Fett on Patreon, this is the way to do it. It's safe to use these also. And all right, let's go ahead and we're going to randomly point. Here we go. Looks like our winner is Brandon Gunnels, who said Ezra. And you named your kid after him. Awesome. All right, congratulations, Brandon. All you have to do is shoot me an email with your shipping information. You want to send that to mailcrabbok@gmail.com. You can find it on the About page of my channel. And I'll get that Legion promo out to you. Hopefully Ezra is in the next wave. I think we're going to see some lightsaber wielders in the next wave. And yeah, that's about it, guys. We got some cool stuff coming up next week, so stay tuned for lots more cool videos. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. And hey, Barry, we are just wrapping up the live stream. Sorry that you joined so late, or maybe you've been in here for a while and are just saying hi. Well, hi right back at you. I'm gonna go get cleaned up and watch some football. We're gonna watch the UCF Knights. Charge on, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. Don't forget discount code in the merch store. If you wanted to buy any merch, it's 10% off this week with Weekend 10 as your discount code. That's all the shirts, the new bag, the new masks, and gator necks and shirts. All that stuff is 10% off just this weekend only with Weekend 10 code. So check that stuff out. Check the description below. Click down there. Click that little see more button. There's also links to Discord and all kinds of other cool stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. And as always, have a great day. Bye.